Hey you guys, what's up? Here we are with the YTP Mini. So this is episode 5 of the YTP Mini, and our intention with this is to give you guys like 10, 15-minute conversations with people that are amazing.
Including
me. You could look at that statement and say, wow, what an ego-filled girl she is. But the thing is, I am amazing, and every single person in this world is amazing because that's our essence. So get in touch with your essence, and you too will feel and talk about how amazing you are. And I hope you do that more and more and more. Be amazing. Okay, so we just had some lingering questions, you guys, that came in actually after we recorded the podcast that we launched on Monday about my experience at the Javelina 100K. So Beej going to pose those questions to me, and we'll do a little mini Smackdown. Go, Beej, go.
All right, let's start. I know we talked briefly about this, but what was your nutrition like the week leading into the race? So not just race nutrition. What was it like the 5 or 6 days leading in?
Yeah, so the race was on Saturday, and I eat basically a normal diet. So whole foods, plant-based diet. Probably am even more conscious of the amount of veggies that I'm eating that week because I just really want to pound my system with good phytonutrients. And then starting on Thursday afternoon, I had started our pre-race regime, which seems to work really, really well for us. So my lunch on Thursday was sauteed tempeh with some Bragg's liquid aminos, nutritional yeast, which is so yummy. I throw that in a pita with some Dijon mustard. That's my lunch. So I basically cut out fiber almost completely. There are some things that will have fiber in it, but no more veggies. Dinner that night on Thursday night was a big serving of white rice, avocado, a little bit of olive oil, nutritional yeast, and salt. And that has become my new pre-race meal. I snack on gluten-free pretzels and vegan fig bars throughout the day. And I was drinking GU electrolyte tabs as well as GU Roctane, getting that 250 calories in. So up in calories as well. And then Friday morning was vegan pancakes, and simply we use Arrowhead buckwheat pancakes. And we simply replace the egg with 3 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. And then we use non-dairy milk as opposed to dairy milk. So I eat those until I can't eat anymore. And then Friday lunch, same thing, tempeh sandwich. Friday dinner is in by 6 p.m. And that's a much smaller serving of the white rice, avocado, olive oil, and salt meal and nutritional yeast. And that is because I want to go to bed almost a little bit hungry. Woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, made my pre-race breakfast, which was two individual, I got the individualized applesauces. So I think 2 of them together is 8 ounces. So that's a cup. I did a cup of applesauce, 1 banana, and 1 scoop of plant-based vanilla protein powder. I ate that by 4 a.m. And truth be told, had like the most successful bathroom experience I've ever had in, being an endurance athlete since 2005. Was pretty psyched. It was pretty complete. And then we went to the race. About 20 minutes before the race, I had a gel. And then I went on into my race nutrition, which I talk about in the full-length podcast.
And we traveled on that Wednesday. So how did that affect your nutrition?
Not at all.
For the race.
I just brought it with me.
Okay.
That's it. No excuses. Set myself up for success.
All right. Was there a time when you wanted to quit? And how did you keep going?
Never. There was never a time I wanted to quit. There was never a time. Quitting it's just not in my wheelhouse. It's just not.
So how did you remove that from your awareness? Because people are gonna.
Yeah, but I don't know if quitting's ever been a thing I've done. I'm just built not to quit.
All right. So
there's been times in the past where I've been like, oh my God, this is like, I have wished for another now. Now that would be something that I've rid myself of. And that's just through training the mind every day for the last decade, and living with less judgment and more welcoming of all things, setting intentions to have all channels open every day, not fighting against the situations of life, but yielding to them. And all of that really opens you up to a life of embracing, what comes at you. And so there wasn't anything on Saturday that derailed me to a point where I wanted to quit. And that doesn't mean that the body wasn't in distress. That doesn't mean that there were times when I was pushing, like that second loop. You had told me push on the second loop, that, I pushed and pushed and pushed. And there were a couple thoughts that I was attuning to of like, oh, it would be so nice just to walk like everybody else is doing. And I thought, well, everybody else isn't you, and this is your plan. And the fact is that even though you don't like it, you're still able to push. So push. So it's really taking the drama out of it and just looking at the fact that you're achieving everything that you set out to do in that moment. And so I think that staying present by practicing present moment awareness in your life is really a way to pull the drama out of things and see that in a moment, in every moment, you're fine. And there's no reason to quit. So for me, it's either finish line or they pull me off the course.
I love that. All right. How did you prepare for the heat? Because it can be at this race, it can be in the high 90s. We were lucky that on race day it was actually low to mid 80s. So how did you prepare for the heat?
Well, first of all, don't get caught up in the fact of like that it's going to be, oh, it's going to be so hot, and how am I going to do? I never got caught up in that. I really wasn't being shaken by the possibility of it being super hot. I knew it was going to be fine. So my response to weather on race day is always like, the weather's going to be amazing. And so anytime anybody would ask me about the weather, or I would hear something about the weather at Javelina, my response was always like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like perfect. It's actually going to be the year that is ideal conditions. And I did a session with an athlete on Thursday who lives in Arizona, and this person said, wow, it looks like you're going to have amazing conditions for Saturday. And I was like, oh, I know. And I had no idea, but it was actually ideal conditions. It was low 80s, and people were still complaining about the heat. So I could have, adopted that mindset, but I adopted this mindset early on, years ago, that race day is always perfect. And now that said, how did I prepare myself for the heat? Now, there were like 4 workouts that I did, and really they weren't like go out and do heat training. But boy, did I find myself in the middle of some serious heat during these trainings. Like there was actually 2 of these trainings. One was early on in the summer. One was actually earlier this month in October, where I was like, whoa, I can see how people get super panicked. Like I could feel that like, wow, I actually might die today, And it was really, really hot. God, am I going to have enough water? I might be running out. Am I going to be okay? And it was always like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And if you die, well, then you die because you're going to die anyway. So I guess, any day can be the day, right? Let's pull the veil off the fact that we pretend we're not dying. Like any day can be the freaking day. So just live every second in gratitude that you get another breath. But I had these, like, in retrospect, these 4 training sessions that were anywhere from 3 to 7 hours where I was in some major heat. And so what do I do in those moments? Yes, I was noticing some unhelpful thoughts. So number 1, I don't indulge those thoughts. I remind myself that right now I'm fine. And then number 2 is I am the sun. There's only one. I always remind myself, there's only one. I am the sun. So it's fine. During the race, I totally used Mel Urie's beautiful technique of I'm a solar panel and the sun is powering me up. I shared that with several people who were complaining about the heat as I passed them, Which, by the way, when you're complaining, that's a real pain in my ass because that means I have to surge in front of you. I have to put out extra effort because I can't run with you. I can't be near you. So don't complain if you're near me. And I told that to people. I was like, yeah, you're just a solar panel. The sun is just powering you up. And people were like, oh, that's actually a really good way of thinking of it. I'm like, yeah, like you can continue to choose to think about it that way, or you can go back to complaining. It doesn't really matter. So I did inadvertently prepare for the heat, I think, really well. And the funny thing is that none of those days they didn't even touch how beautiful and perfect it was on race day. Like those days that I trained were way, way tougher. There was a training run I did with our athlete Jody at the beginning of this month. And I said to you in my notes, I don't remember a tougher day of training. Javelina 100K didn't even touch that day. That day was tough. So just, execute the workouts. Don't project onto your day anything that's unhelpful. And just remember that it's all going to be the ideal unfolding for you, for your growth, for your opportunity here on earth. Because this day is temporary. So make the most of it. Make the most of it.
Such an easy concept to embrace, right? You're shifting your words, basically just shifting your thoughts from it's hot to just, I'm a solar panel. Actually, I'm one with the sun. I'm one with the sun.
There was a costume contest at Halloween.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like envisioning myself dressed as a solar panel.
Oh, somebody should have had that. I don't think I saw anybody. I saw Fred Flintstone out there and Spider-Man.
Yeah, with like the full-on Flintstone mobile.
If you think you were hot running in just regular clothes, these people were out in costumes crushing it.
Like taffeta and tutus and stuff. It's crazy. People are crazy.
All right, last question. Is there anything that you would do differently?
So I think like one of very few times in my life, I actually made a list and I wrote it in my journal so that I would always have it. And it was like my 100K checklist. I did a story on it and I just started to think about, okay, what do I need nutrition wise? I'm pretty dialed on my nutrition. So there wasn't a lot of debate about what I was going to bring or what I was going to do. And then it was so cool because I made that list on like Monday and Wednesday when I was packing, I just referenced the list. It made packing so freaking easy because the list was totally thorough. Would I have done anything different? I really wouldn't have done anything different. I think I executed that race so well. I think nutrition, even though my body got into distress at some point, I don't know what I could have done to make my body not be in distress. I can tell you what I did do not to perpetuate the distress was I didn't get like dramatic about it. I didn't lose hope over the fact that I threw up. I was just like, that's amazing. I'm going to feel so like, who doesn't feel better on the other side of a throw up? Right? It's the best. And total gratitude that my body knows what to do.
Yeah, your body's smart. It's saying, well, we were talking about this. Stop the nutrition. Just stop for a bit.
Pump the brakes.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm gonna regurgitate some stuff here. It's gonna come out. Let it come out. I'm gonna recalibrate, and I'll let you know when I'm ready to refuel.
Yeah, totally. So no, I don't think I would do anything different. I really think that this was a pretty pristine, mentally and physically, really pristine execution. One thing that I'm definitely going to do again, though, is have a pack of gum in my drop bag because I had a piece of peppermint gum at like mile 42. It was awesome. It was so awesome. So I'm definitely going to pack gum for sure. But and an extra skirt because you never know when you're going to fall into a cactus and not have time to pull cactus needles out of your skirt. So that was helpful.
True story.
I pulled the cactus needles out the next day. I was like, wow, they were definitely in there. So
amazing. You are amazing. Let's circle back. You are amazing.
Everybody who's listening to this is amazing. I think everybody's all amazing.
Whether you did 100K or not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you walk to your mailbox today and back, you're amazing. You're amazing simply because you exist.